Hello and welcome to another video. So today we're going to play some Aggro Shadow. This deck is not fully optimized, it's just the best I can do with the cards that I currently have. If I had the other cards I would build a much better deck than this, but this is currently what I can do with these cards. So if you're having similar troubles as me and not having the most optimal cards, this is probably still going to be quite alright. I'm currently running at just above 50% win rate with this deck, which is pretty good overall. You know, any deck that can pull you in over 50% win rate is good. After all, that means you're always going to be progressing. Alright, so our first matchup is Blood, which is kind of average for Shadow, I guess, with the way I've got this built. Keep the Shadow Reaper, and that looks good. If we can just build a board before they clear it, we should be right. And the problem is Blood can have quite a good early game. And if they pull off turn 6, you're screwed. You either got to win by turn 6 or lose. Set up 2 of these, and then I can set up Prince of Catacombs. Hope I draw into another 1-drop. That way I can set it up again and have Prince of Catacombs just quite good. And of course, they drop Vania, which is probably their most ideal trade against my board. Alright. This is still probably going to be okay. Vania's probably going to have to trade with something. Good for me. And also use Prince of Catacombs to turn all these into skeleton bodies. Really nice. Interesting. Unfortunately, I have to get rid of something here. We'll get rid of that for now. We get to keep the bodies, which means Shadow Reaper will actually be half decent next turn. A fair play. It's not too bad for this deck. The only problem is going to be my health total and surviving that long, but with our current board state, that shouldn't be a big problem. Alright, so I think we start trading. We remove most of the big threats. And then we remove anything else that could be dangerous to our board. Because now all these skeletons will also boost my attack power up, which is nice. And along with Phantom Howl, I should be able to fill the board again next turn if I need to. And then Death's Breath is a solid tech against other aggro decks, so if you do get stuck, you can use it as a defensive mass summon. Alright. So with the way the board is now, Lesser Mummy's not too bad. I can easily trade that if I want to. What do we got here first? We have, assuming I evolve, 8, 9, 10, 11. Actually, set up just the evolve and base. Trying to think if they have anything that can deal 5 damage on 6. Trying to think about it. I only need 3, which I can deal anyway, so we're not gonna take the chance and we're gonna get rid of that. I mean, I've got Phantom Howl, which is pretty much gonna guarantee me 3 hits. So that's fine. And that will be our first game out of the way. Awesome. So the ghosts worked out quite well. Alright. We'll give it another shot. I don't know whether the second game is going to be quite as good as the first one. It really just depends on matchup. And unfortunately, since this deck is not fully optimized, and I want to emphasize that it's not fully optimized, so it's not going to be perfect, then there's definitely room for improvement, and that means decks that do have more optimized builds are going to beat you. That will happen. But overall, I've succeeded quite well with this deck. You know, like I said, it's above 50%. I think with that win, that pushed it just into the 60% range, which is nice. So, now it's just a matter of, is this Shadow going to out-aggro me? And when you're going second with this deck, it's not always the best. You're probably better off going first and being able to drop the Skull Beast turn 1 quite easily. But this isn't too bad. If I can draw into a Catacomb, I can set up really nicely here and not have to worry too much about them. Cerberus, not a bad draw, but not a Catacomb. Prince of Catacombs is probably the most important card to this entire deck, next to Phantom Howl and Shadow Reaper. Just does so much for the deck. Really helps. We'll go this way. Alright. This way Shadow Reaper's gonna gain no matter what. Getting an early Shadow Reaper can mean the difference between winning and losing. You also don't always want to play Shadow Reaper, obviously. Like, I'm taking a risk by playing it here, but it's a risk that I'm willing to take. I could have done this differently and actually had extra damage there, but I think getting the extra damage onto that Shadow is important. Making sure the board is full is also very important. Alright. So, Cerberus turn 5, Death Breath maybe on turn 6, depending on our current board state at the time. It's just going to come down to what the opponent has in their hand. If they have something big that can really affect us, we're kind of screwed. But that is not bad at all. See that trading with a 3, surely? Yep. As expected. And Zombie Party, okay. A lot of Shadow decks have started running Zombie Party, which is a little surprising to me. Alright, so we get a Cerberus. I mean, you can't really go wrong with that. Cerberus is quite a good card. We will trade there. And hit face. And I'm going to take the Evolve. I'm going to tell you why. Because they have another Evolve point. I know they have a carrot. And I don't want to risk them evolving and killing off that Cerberus too quickly. If I can use that Cerberus as really heavy pressure, for example, for a play like this, then that's really solid and nice. Just stick to the board really well. Alright, so if I want to clear this off, the best way is probably going to be to hope that I get a decent Author. Alright, that's actually nearly perfect. Because I don't have to spend the Evolve like I was thinking I might have ended up having to do. And I can hold on to the rest of my hand for now. Try and be as careful as possible with this deck, so I don't make too many big mistakes. That's kind of annoying. Something I shouldn't overall be able to handle. I really need a Phantom Howl. That would have been the most ideal card to have here. Prince of Catacombs would have been pretty nice as well. But I want to make sure their board doesn't stay stable. Alright, so Prince of Catacombs would be nearly ideal. I can use that to then bolster these forces so they're a lot harder to get over, and then I can use Coco to boost them up. I would say, yeah, okay, so this is why this Shadow didn't really have a solid early game, or a late game. Which, with the way they're playing, is probably going to beat me. I can't think of any way I can actually pull a win off this right now, outside of hoping. Like, that's not bad, I guess, but I need a lot more damage to go for lethal yet. And Phantom Howl is important. If I can't draw into another Phantom Howl, I don't know what I'm going to do. We haven't drawn any Catacomb, we didn't draw any of the Phantom Howl, we drew one Cerberus of the 2 that I'm able to run due to what I have. And they've now got a Mordecai, which is really hard to deal with, and will probably deal a lot of damage. So, and there's probably the worst card I could possibly imagine right now. So, I reckon this will probably wrap up the video. I don't reckon I'm going to be able to win this no matter how hard I try here. Like, regardless of what I do, I'm absolutely screwed. Heals for 2. Okay. I'm going to keep pushing because that's what I'm going to do. If they have, what, 3 damage, they win. And even with the Phantom Howl now, I'm not going to have enough damage to actually push through for game. Kind of sad. Alright. So, thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Check out the deck list in the description along with all the other links. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So I'll catch you next time. See ya.